hello everyone. Welcome back to The Decap. Today we have another ranking the top 10 players at each position, and today we have centers. Now before I start doing my honorable mentions in top 10, I have one thing to say about two players. Now Kristaps Porzingis and LaMarcus Aldridge will be on this list as you may consider them as power forwards, but they play center on their teams, and on their teams' respective depth charts, they are listed as centers. So they're centers on my list today. Now, for honorable mentions, I have three. Starting off, we have Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell is a great defender. He's a decent offensive player, and he's just a great 6th or 7th man. He's just not on this list because he doesn't impact the game as much as the top 10 do. He's still a great player, and he might deserve to be on this list. It's just honorable mentions. Definitely, if you wanted to put him 9 or 10, I wouldn't argue. Now, another honorable mention is DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is a great up-and-coming player. I think he averaged like 19 and 12. It's just injury concerns. I don't want him to be injury-prone, but when you're that tall, there's a chance that you will be. So, I don't know. He's not top 10 because of that, and also the suspension he got at the beginning of the season was like 25 games. Hopefully that's not a problem going forward. Hopefully he can be a clean, injury-free player, and I look for him to improve on this list. Maybe definitely get into the top 10, maybe 6 or 7 on this list. And my final honorable mention is Steven Adams. He's a great rebounder, good finisher, decent defender. He won't really bring you any playmaking, any shooting. You know what you're going to get with him, and he definitely is useful on that team as they have Shea, Chris Paul, Danilo Gallinari, who can kind of score, and he can get the rebounds and dish it out to them. Now, starting my top 10 list, we have at number 10, Andre Drummond. Now, Andre Drummond averaged 18 points, 15 rebounds, and you may say he's too low from those stats and from just watching him play. But I really don't like him that much as some other guys that he might even be more talented than them, but I don't like him as much because he doesn't know his role. He tries to be someone that he isn't. He takes the ball up court when he has bad handles, at least compared to guards like Markelle Fultz and Evan Fournier. Now, I wouldn't argue if you moved him up a couple spots, but just number 10 for Andre Drummond. He's a good finisher, good rebounder. It's just like Steven Adams, he won't bring you shooting. He's a terrible shooter. And a decent defender, not amazing. He can't really guard the perimeter. But Andre Drummond, you know what you're going to get. And also he's not number 10 because his play style hasn't led to winning, obviously. And, okay, Andre Drummond, number 10. Now, number 9, we have Clint Capella, averaging 14 points, 14 rebounds. Now, this is mostly the guy I was saying if you could move Andre Drummond above him if you wanted to, but Clint Capella knows his role. Andre Drummond doesn't. Clint Capella knows he gets rebounds, dishes it out, lays in some layups, and finishes some lobs. That's what he does. He plays good defense, gets a lot of rebounds, scores 10 points a night. He is averaging 14 points, 14 rebounds, but, 10 points a night. Maybe a couple more, like 14. But Clint is a great rebounder, and he fits in perfectly on the Hawks with Trae Young and John Collins, which may benefit him as he can just get the ball, dish it out to Trae Young, who can shoot threes, and John Collins has a decent jump shot. Obviously, John Collins is amazing on offense. Well, not amazing, but he's a good offensive player. And he also fits because he can make up on the defensive side where John Collins isn't especially good, and John Collins can make up for kind of the shooting and the big men duo on the Hawks. And Clint Capella, number 9, you could definitely move him to 10 below Drummond, maybe even honorable mentions below DeAndre Ayton and Montrezl Harrell. I wouldn't say Steven Adams, but Clint Capella, number 9, he knows his role. I love that about him. Now, at number 8, we have LaMarcus Aldridge. Aldridge averaged 19 points, 7.5 rebounds, but he is near the end of his career, and he will never win again unless he changes teams or the Spurs manage to get off a miraculous trade that will just make them contenders again. But LaMarcus Aldridge, he's a good mid-range shot, not amazing at three-pointers, not like as bad as Andre Drummond, but I would definitely like to see him ring chase and be the 3rd or 4th option on a championship team, like maybe someone like the Warriors, but they obviously don't have that much cap. But LaMarcus Aldridge could kind of make up offensively for Draymond, and he could take a couple possessions off where Draymond is going, doing what he does best. Now, LaMarcus Aldridge, number 8. Number 7, we have Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic averaged 19.5 points and 11 rebounds. He's a good scorer, good rebounder, just no team success. They made the playoffs. They usually make the playoffs of an 8 seed, but then get bounced in first round. Obviously, Vucevic is an all-star. Well, he wasn't this year, but last year. And he's a good player. It's just he's the only decent player on that team. Well, not decent. Evan Fournier is decent. Jonathan Isaac hopefully will become good. And maybe Jonathan Isaac, Nikola Vucevic, Markelle Fultz can bring them some success. But Aaron Gordon hasn't been good when I think he was supposed to be good. It's just he hasn't turned out well. So Nikola Vucevic, 19.5 points, 11 rebounds. He's been an all-star in his career. He's a good scorer, good rebounder. He definitely deserves to be on this list. Number 7 is a good place on this list for me, in my opinion. Now, number 6, we have Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis averaged 19 points and 9.5 rebounds. He's good this year. He was good this year with Luka. Obviously, not as good as he was on the Knicks stat-wise, because the Knicks, he was the star, and the Mavs, he isn't the star anymore. And also, Porzingis did get off to kind of a rusty start, but he definitely bounced back towards the end of the year, or towards the end of the playing time that we had before quarantine started. He definitely started to pick up his game. He's a great shooter. He's good at blocking shots. He's a big part of the Mavericks. And when Luka Doncic is not on the floor, he definitely has the ability to take over a game and win it for the Mavericks. Kristaps Porzingis is a good stretch big man. He can hit some threes and play some good defense, grab some. He's not an amazing rebounder for his height, but he's good. And yeah, Kristaps Porzingis, number 6, definitely look for him to rise, because there's maybe to 5 next year, because maybe to 5 next year. But Kristaps Porzingis, number 6, makes sense. Now, number 5 is another young guy, Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is definitely on the rise. He averaged 16 points, 10.5 rebounds. He's a good scorer, an amazing defender, a good rebounder. He's an all-star. He's a big player on a great team in the East. Well, maybe not great, but a top 4 seed in the East, I think. I don't really know the East standings, but they're a top 4 team. They were good this year. They're obviously overachieving, and Bam Adebayo is a big reason for that. And Bam Adebayo will definitely get some votes for most improved. He probably won't win it, but he's an all-star when he wasn't. He really wasn't a big part of that team last year, and now he arguably is the best player, probably second best behind Jimmy Butler, but he's a big part of the team. And Bam Adebayo will keep getting better. Look for him to jump ahead of my number 4 guy, Rudy Gobert, next year. Now, Rudy Gobert has averaged 15 points, 14 rebounds. He's an amazing defender, an amazing rebounder. He's good at catching lobs from Donovan Mitchell, putting them back. And my number 3 guy is Karl Anthony Towns, and I can definitely see if you want to put Gobert above Karl Anthony Towns. It's just he doesn't really provide an offensive game that Towns brings. He's a great defender. It's just in this NBA, I want someone that can score, and he can score 15 points a night, but they're mostly lobs. He's not really making shots for him, which he's definitely valuable. It's just I think Karl Anthony Towns is more valuable. And also Rudy Gobert, I would say, I don't know how old he is, but he's definitely nearing his prime, or maybe past his prime, and he'll definitely start decreasing his play. He's 27, so his play will start decreasing, but he'll still be a good player for a long time, maybe 5 to 10 years even. Now, number 3, as I just said, Karl Anthony Towns. Towns averaged 26.5 points, 11 rebounds. He's amazing offensively. He's a freakish athlete, and he's maybe the 1 or 2 best big men on this list for shooting, besides maybe Kristaps. But he averaged above 40% from 3, which is amazing. But just his defense is holding him back from the 2 above him, which you can probably guess by now. But also, Karl Anthony Towns doesn't really try on defense, which is why I can see you putting Gobert above him. But Towns is a great offensive player. Gobert is a great defensive player. And as I said before, in the modern NBA, in the 2020 NBA, I want offense more than defense. And also, Towns is very young, which is a plus. Now, number 2 is Joel Embiid, who averaged 23.5 points, 12 rebounds. He's a great player, a great post player, a great defender. And the top two, Joel and Nikola Jokic, are definitely interchangeable, and I think they're in the league of their own. Karl Anthony Towns is definitely a step back from these top two, but I would say he's behind Jokic because he's very injury prone, and he's not really. I know I say modern NBA a lot, but he doesn't really fit into the scheme of the modern NBA, as he's kind of a slow playing big man that can't shoot. And also, I like Jokic a lot better because Jokic's playmaking is much, much better than Embiid's, because Embiid's playmaking isn't very good. The last thing I will say about Embiid is I don't really think Joel fits with Ben well, and I would like to see him get traded, as I think Ben will become a great player in the NBA, while Joel Embiid, I think he definitely will be in his prime at some point, but because that's how basketball works, but I don't think you'll see him get much better, as he'll average 23, 24 points a night, 12 rebounds, be good at defense. It's just I don't see him getting much better. And my number one, as I just said, Nikola Jokic, averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, almost averaging a triple-double. Jokic is a great scorer. He's a great, not a great rebounder, a decent rebounder. He's an amazing playmaker. He's one of the best big man playmakers that we have ever seen in the history of basketball. And one knock on him, the one knock that people always point back to is his defense. Now, it's pretty bad, but if he can get that better, maybe just to league average, I think everyone will say he's better than Embiid if they don't nowadays. But also Jokic isn't a very good three-point shooter. Him and Embiid aren't very good. They're like 30.314, something around there, which isn't very good. But if Jokic can improve his three-point shot by a bit, maybe just get to 35% and improve his defense, then he will definitely solidify himself as the number one center. Now, I'll go back through my list. Number 1, Nikola Jokic. Number 2, Joel Embiid. 3, Karl Anthony Towns. 4, Rudy Gobert. 5, Bam Adebayo. 6, Kristaps Porzingis. 7, Nikola Vucevic. 8, LaMarcus Aldridge. 9, Clint Capella. 10, Andre Drummond, with honorable mentions of Steven Adams, DeAndre Ayton, and Montrezl Harrell. Now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment what you disagree or agree with. Please hit the like button, spread the word of the channel. And I hope you keep coming back to watch more videos. I hope you enjoy them, and peace.